Right, let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Friday! Yay! Sun's not out there, that's a bit annoying. I think someone said it's meant to come back out, but thank you for joining us. And what a great week we've had. Cookhouse Anna, Fiona Beckett, Socially by Max. Tonight isn't a great night. And we also had Borough Kitchen, so that's great. And tonight we have got, I'm going to wait till she's joined us. Hello, how lovely to see you.
Hi.
Thanks. Can I introduce you, everyone? This is Atoosa Sepehr. I'm sure I'm saying your name wrongly. Can you please?
Atoosa is perfect.
Okay, thank you. Who is very, very busy, and I just love it for all that you're doing. She's written a beautiful book called The Persian Kitchen. We're going to talk about that again in a while. She did all the photography herself, and we're going to talk about that when we talk about her book, because it's beautiful. She's a nutritional student. How far into your course are you?
First year. I'm finishing my first year this Friday, coming Friday. So I have exam.
Okay. Oh, good luck. And originally from Iran. Now, it's very interesting because as a child, she went and lived in Italy for a little while and then returned to Iran. And even though she loved all the food, and who can't not love the food in Italy, she realized that she really, really loved her food of Persia and sort of just appreciated it more and loved having all this lovely food with your aunt, your grandmother, your mother. And you learnt more about cooking, didn't you? That's when it started.
Yes, that's exactly how it started. It really started when I left home, going to university in Iran. Because when I was a kid, my mom didn't let me cook that much. She was like, your job is to study, my job is to look after you, and that's it. So when I went to university, I really didn't have that much experience. So I started recreating my mom's recipes. But it was just when I came to England that I really started missing my mom's food, my grandma's, my aunt. So I wanted to have exactly the same dishes, not those that I created. So I started to do it really intensely every day and calling them and asking for recipes. And it was a way of me connecting to my parents because I was missing home so much coming here.
Can we just talk about your journey over here? Because that's one of a very brave person, I have to say. I have to say, honestly. Atoosa was married and it was going wrong, and the law in Iran, I don't know if it's like that still, but then was your husband can stop you from leaving the country. And he got wind, and her parents said, right, tonight you're leaving. And they literally managed to get the money together, get the flight, leave the country, and you landed in England. Knowing anyone?
Yes, because when I was working in Iran, part of my job was working with one of the companies here in London. So I knew some people, but it's different knowing colleagues than having friends and, people that you're really close to. And knowing, and just leave your country and leaving everything behind, everything you built. I was 2 years into my company. I was just starting to build it up. I felt I'm happy with whatever I have achieved, and I had to leave everything behind because I was in a really bad relationship. And one thing that I knew my ex is going to put his finger on is stopping me from leaving the country. Because of my job, I had to travel a lot.
Yeah.
And I love traveling as well. So he knew that was the thing that he could do to me. So but before things gets really mad, from conversation I had with the company in London, I knew they needed somebody.
Okay.
So I asked them if they need me, but I didn't tell them what's happening because I didn't want them to feel pity or.
Yeah. That was your private life.
Exactly, it was really private. Even my parents at the time, they didn't know I have problem with my husband. I kept it all to myself. So I did everything. When everything was sorted, I called my parents and I said, I can't do it anymore. And my parents came, helped me to get out of that marriage. But as soon as I got out of it, was exactly the night of the day that I left my ex-house, my relationship,
Yeah.
that he told me. And he said, okay, you know what, tomorrow morning you're going to be banned from leaving the country. And my bad luck was that he was working as a really senior person in passports.
Oh.
So all the passport, everything, all in people coming in, coming out, he actually designed the passport system. So he was really clever, but at the same time he was completely
Difficult.
He had mental problem, but really severe one. He was getting abusive. It was really hard to live with him. So I knew for him it was just a matter of one click in the morning and I would have been banned. That's it. My passport would have meant nothing. So at night, I called my mom. I was out. It was 9 o'clock at night time, and my mom said, just get back home. We're going to go back to Tehran, which is 6 hours drive from Isfahan, and you're going to leave. Even no conversation about it. And she was absolutely right.
You just fled that night, didn't you?
Exactly. I went home. I was out seeing my friends after a long time. So I went home, packed my stuff, and my poor mom drove all the way back after driving all the way to Isfahan, which was 6 hours. So we got right to Isfahan after a 6-hour drive. I had 2 hours at home resting, and then I went to see my friends, and then he called me. So we had to go back again. 6 hours drive back.
Yeah.
I went straight away to the airport and trying to actually find the money, because at the time it wasn't like now that you could have credit card, cash machines, and it was quite a big amount of money because it was last minute ticket.
Last minute ticket to leave the country to London. Exactly. A one-way ticket.
Exactly. So my brother called all his friends. They all came on the way, gave me money. So in the end we had enough. And
you fled.
Got to England, and the day after, I noticed I was banned from leaving the country.
So you jumped ship just at the right time.
Exactly. I was really lucky.
You must have been petrified, and this was in 2007, wasn't it?
2007, yes.
Yeah, but you see, I think that's why your book is actually so beautiful, because you have this passion. And you had to leave your country, but you're still very connected to your country, aren't you?
Yes.
And you miss it very much, even though you're very happy here.
Yes.
But you wanted to share the beauty of Persian food.
Yes, and also whatever you hear in media here, it's all about terrorism, bad news. You don't hear anything nice about Iran, which is, I had my problems with Iran, I know. It's not easy, but there's so many beautiful things in Iran that nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
People are beautiful. I've been to Iran after my divorce with lots of French people, Italians, Irish, and they were amazed how kind people are. You're walking on the street and people come and say to you, come to our home. Would you like to cook you this? Would you like me to take you here? Do you need any help here? It's just they know you for years, you know? Like,
yeah.
Have you been here? Do you want me to come and pick you up and take you wherever you want? They were amazed. And I talked to lots of tourists there that they were from all around the world, and they all said the same thing to me when I was in Iran, that it's a completely different world from what we thought it is.
Yeah. Our perception's completely different.
Yes.
Yeah. I've not been, but I did actually. I was the private cook to the Shah of Iran's nephew for about 4 years, the Pahlabad family.
Oh.
Have you heard of that name?
No.
Yeah, well, anyhow.
Can you say the name one more time? Sorry?
His name was Shabazz Pahlabad.
No.
But anyhow, it was an amazing adventure for a summer every year. But anyhow, it just made me laugh when I was reading about you. Um, so your book, The Persian Kitchen, you did that in 2018, and you taught yourself to be a photographer to take all the photos because your partner was, who is a photographer, was going to take the photos, and then he was too busy with his PhD.
Yes, yes. He is a great photographer, but I realized there is no way, because when you cook, you have to take the picture. You can't wait for him to
Yeah. Finish writing, whatever.
and he was really busy, to be fair. But he gave me an hour lesson and said, "That's it. I can't, you know." And he wasn't really sure I can do it, and I wasn't sure because I didn't have a clue. But one thing that helped me a lot was when I was a teenager, I had some knowledge about art because I took some courses in art. So that helped me a lot, just composition wise, where to put, how to create the scene and then take the picture. But YouTube was great with Photoshop. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, because your photos are very rich. They're sort of like still life oil paintings. Did you set out with that idea, or did it just sort of build?
It's interesting. Everybody says that because I was doing oil painting as a teenager. Okay. I was painting quite a lot of actually painting. And this is something that it just came out of my picture without even me realizing it. Everybody later, when they saw my picture, they said, "Oh, this looks like still life."
Yeah.
And I realized that's part of me that I wasn't even aware of it. It just came on its own.
And it just sort of came out, and then the book became more richer and richer, and because they are like lovely sets that you've added things to, and it's got character, and they're quite sort of vintage looking, and it's very beautiful, and pomegranates everywhere, and the recipes look divine, I have to say.
Thank you.
Can you tell me now, I want to know about cuckoo cutlet.
Yes.
Take me through this, take us through this.
A cutlet and cuckoo, the old dishes that are egg-based, really. Some people think it's like a frittata here, but they're really common in Iran. You have different kinds of cuckoo, which is you can make it with lots of herbs, spices, egg, or just egg and potato, or egg, potato, and meat, or you can add chickpeas to it. A lot of variety of it, and it's really common. People cook it a lot. I remember when I was a kid, my mom used to make cuckoo, and I never liked it. So we were always, me and my brother was like, "Oh no, can we not have cuckoo?" But now I'm just in love with it. That's so nice. I don't know,
Yeah.
It's really changed. And when you're a kid, there are things that you don't like, but now you start loving them. And for me, cuckoo is one of them. And it's a great thing you can have for picnics. Because you can even have a cold or warm. So it's really easy to make, and it has lots of usage. It's not indeed.
I think people have been calling them fridge raiders here, because you can use all the bits up that are in the fridge and put them in.
Yes.
And that's funny when you were saying all the ingredients.
Yes.
So, it's a great midweek something, and you can rustle something up and just use up all those little bits and bobs. Yes. Or you can make a very beautiful one that you decide you want to have goat's cheese and red peppers in.
Yes, yes. Yeah. You go to the original recipe, or you can just
add. But I love the name cuckoo. It's so sweet.
Cuckoo.
And can you tell us about making your tip on making fermented sour yogurt? Kashik?
Cash. To be honest with you, cash is one of the things that I can't claim that I am an expert on it, and I try not to make it at home because it's something that it needs to be made in its traditional way. I know there are recipes that they make it, but it's not the same thing. I buy it either because what they do in Iran, when you go to the farms that the people really make it, they shake the yogurt or sometimes milk, yogurt really, for a long time. So the water gets
separated.
Yes, it's just not possible to make it at home the same way. So I usually buy it and then I add water to it to become, which is it's easy and nobody makes it in Iran. Everybody buys it.
You buy it.
Yes, because it's kind of impossible to make it.
Okay. No, I was just reading that you had a tip that you can mix, I think, yogurt and feta or something and whiz it.
Sour cream, you can add sour cream and feta cheese and mix it together. And it tastes quite the same and it's easy for people here if they can't find kashk. You can find kashk itself in Persian shops, Middle Eastern shops, but the quickest way is just to add some feta cheese and sour cream or yogurt and just...
And it's made of cow's milk, is it?
Yes. Well, you can also yes, it is made of cow's milk, and also sometimes goat, sometimes sheep. So
okay, so it's flexible.
From also, yes.
Yeah.
Here, mainly cow, and in the market is mainly cow in Iran. If you go to private places that people make it, then you can get sheep one or goat one.
Okay.
The main one is cow, really.
Okay. Nice. And tell me, when you go back to Iran, what are some things that you sneak back because you cannot get them here?
Ah, God. I used to think these days London is great.
Okay. You
can find everything. But there are things that I still bring in despite having them here because the quality is different.
Yeah.
So if you let me, I'll bring everything because the nuts there are so different. Fruits, completely different. It's just so sweet. I sometimes when my parents come, I just ask them to bring me apricot. It's a simple thing, but it's if I give it to somebody who hasn't tried Iranian apricot, they might not even recognize this is apricot because it's completely different. Some of them are white and it's so sweet.
Wow, and it must be the warmth and it must be a different variety. Yeah. Someone's just asked if you bring saffron back.
I always bring saffron, yes, because even if I run out of saffron in England, I buy it from Iranian shop. And this is one thing that, not because I'm Iranian and I'm prejudiced or blah, blah, blah. No, it's one ingredient that it has to be from Iran because it's completely different.
And there's a lot of fake saffron on the market though, isn't there? That's the problem.
Yes.
That sort of dumbs saffron down. So that's when you want to know where you're getting it from.
Exactly. There are lots of Spanish ones and they claim that it's the same, but if you add water to both of them, you will see the difference and the odor.
The aroma.
Yes, completely different.
Oh, that's amazing. So tell me, what would be, if we were to have a Friday night feast from your book, in the weather as it is today, what do you think we should be eating? Can you talk us through your sort of exotic food?
Yes, I would. If it's the weather like today, do you mean cold? Because today it looks quite miserable.
Well, it's miserable, so we need a bit of sort of warming up and comfort.
I would definitely suggest osh.
Now talk us through osh.
Osh is one of my favorite ones. It's just, if one day I want to work in a restaurant and serve something, it would be osh because it's, especially the noodle osh, it's full of herbs and beans and it's the aroma, it's beautiful. It's not, when I say herb, us Iranians, 30 grams, 50 grams is nothing. We use like kilos of herbs in, for example, in my recipe, I think it's almost a kilo of herbs in it, half a kilo, yes. So we use a lot of herbs. and that makes it so fresh, and with fried onion and garlic and mint, olive with oil, and kashk, which is the main part of it.
And what's that?
The kashk that we talked earlier.
Oh, the yogurt. Yeah. Okay.
It makes it completely unique, and I've noticed people haven't tried it in here, and whenever I've made it, they're all like, wow, this is amazing. So this is one thing that I would definitely suggest.
And you would dip bread into that, or just eat it on its own?
You can consider it a meal itself. For me, it's a meal itself because it has noodles in it and it has lots of beans in it.
But it's cold or hot?
Hot.
Oh, so you heat the cash up?
Yes.
You see, this is completely new to me. I can't understand this.
If you use the substitute, which is the sour cream and feta, you don't need to heat it up, because as you add it to the actually with the kashk as well, with osh, you don't need to heat it up. In some dishes you do, but with osh, no, you just pour it on top, or the last minute you add it to the osh so it becomes warm.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Sounds really, really nice. Someone else just said baghali polo.
Baghali polo.
Yeah. I can't speak your language.
Baghali polo with lamb shank. It's, yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorites, which is, it's rice with broad beans and dill with some spices. You make the rice separate, and then you have lamb shank. And it is one of the traditional dishes, Iranian dishes as well.
Gosh, that sounds amazing. And what's your tahdig? I love your, that's amazing. That is like your national dish, wouldn't you say?
Tahdig is just Persian signature. You can't eat Persian food without tahdig. It's just not possible. It's rice. When you cook the rice, we cook it in a way that we end up with the base, the bottom of the rice. The rice becomes so crispy. Yes. And we usually use non-stick pans or different kind of pans that we can just flip it over.
Yeah.
You end up with like a rice cake with crispy rice on top.
Delicious it is, and people are saying it's delicious. And you can add like apricots and almonds and lamb or chicken or beans or herbs or...
Everything. That's one thing about Persian food is the rice. We have so many different varieties of rice. We add herbs to it. We add dried fruit, nuts, even chopped tomatoes. As simple as that. Rice, chopped tomatoes, and it's just, you can add anything to it, but it's the way it's been cooked is different that makes it different from the rice here.
And tell me, can I just ask you, the rice must be grown in Tehran, but I don't think I've ever seen like paddy fields.
It's not in Tehran, sorry. It's north of Tehran. It is north of Iran. Although we have different kind of rice. We have rice which is from north of Iran. The city I was born in, Sepehr, there are fields of rice. It's a different kind of rice. In Shiraz, actually, I was born in Shiraz. I grew up in Sepehr. So in Sepehr, it has a different rice. In Shiraz has its own different rice. So you do find different kind of rice all over in some parts of Iran. But the main and signature rice in Iran is from north of Iran.
Okay.
And one of my favorite one, which again comes from north of Iran, is smoked rice.
Oh.
Yes.
I've never heard of that.
I know. It's just, you should try it. It's something, I think, I noticed that recently in Persian shops, they started to
stock it.
Yes. So it's really nice. And you add it to the rice. So usually I don't have it just cooked rice, just smoked rice. I add it to the normal rice, and the smell and the
It
Maybe
just adds another. Someone's just saying smoked rice with fish is delicious.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And I presume you live in London. And I'm just wondering, so where's your favourite Persian store that you go to? Are you north or west or south?
I
North.
north in if you come to Finchley Central,
Yeah.
I feel like I am in Iran. There's so many Persian shops.
Oh, is that a big centre for Persian?
You can find anything you want. They even sell you freshly baked sangak bread,
Which
which is
is,
a unique bread to Iran, and it's been baked on stone. And they do it in a traditional way, even here. So anything, I remember the very first time I came to England, it was in 2000 when I finished my degree. And I went to a shop and they were selling even, I don't know what they call it here. It's, Turkish people, they call it kaymak.
okay.
And it's like a cream from, when you boil the milk, on top of it something.
You get the skin.
Yes. So it's the skin on top of each other, and they were selling that, and I said, where do you find this? And he said, every day they bring it from Iran. So so they had agreement. So they were getting freshly made sashi, we call it sashi, brought from Iran, so they were selling it, but it's been banned now. They can't do it anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, when lockdown's over, I'm definitely going to Finchley Central to take a wander around. But no, that sounds amazing. But also before, because you talk about your life before you became a cookbook author and a photographer and nutrition, you were actually a software engineer, a steel a consultant, and also an accountant.
Yes.
You like to challenge yourself, and now you're studying to be a nutritionist.
Yes. I know, I'm mad. I'm mad. When I finished my accountancy, I said I would never study again. And in one of those mad moments, I just decided to do nutrition, which I'm really happy I started. And I don't think I've ever enjoyed any of other subjects I studied as much as I'm enjoying the nutrition. It's as a woman in a Muslim country.
Yeah.
I was brought up in a really open-minded family, but there are certain expectations and there are certain things that whether you want it or not, you can feel it. And one thing was, being in Iran, woman and kitchen, I never liked that combination. So I was always trying to stay outside the kitchen, because it was kind of like, it is your duty, it is part of the things you need to do. So I never cooked when I was at home. So I didn't have this problem. I never felt like this. But when I married, when I could see my friends, it was like part of their duty. And so I didn't want to be a woman in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I had to suppress the things that I really loved. And I always wanted to be a man, be in a man world. So when I started to do import and export, I don't think any women were doing it. I remember when I was calling, because it is a really male-dominated environment. I remember the very first thing that I was picking up the phone and talking to them, they were like, oh my God, you're a woman. It's like, so? Now it has changed, but at the time that I started, not many women were dealing with steel and iron, and
Well, no, and it's interesting that you say you were trying to suppress what the regular woman should do, and it's basically being a housewife in Iran, and it's cooking and cleaning and managing the home and all of that. And you were like, I really love that, but I'm not going to do it because then I'll get caught.
Yes, it's like my duty. And it's like okay, you're a woman, that's what you do, you know. Even now, if I had written this book at the time in Iran, it would have been like, a woman, it's like, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I do, I can hear you. That's, is it still like that now, or has
No,
it, no,
no.
it's changed?
I think if I'm right, 70% of universities now are women
Okay.
students. It's there are so many women working, and no, it's not. And that's one thing, that it's not like Saudi Arabia, that women have permission to do anything. In Iran, women have the right to do whatever they want. I know there are restrictions, but you can work, you can study, you can, they won't stop you to do these things. And it's
Yeah.
not fair to say, but that they would. But for example, if you're married and your husband doesn't want you to work, can go to the office and says, I don't want my wife to work. So yes, there are those things, but you have the right to study and work.
Yeah.
And it's so open. It is quite open for women.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well that's good, and I'm glad to hear that things are changing, and but I'm glad to hear that you left that male-dominated world on many levels, and then you found your freedom here, and you found your artistic side.
Yes,
And you
yes.
let that release, and it's not through just being cooking in the corner. You've done your book and all the rest of it. Someone's just asked, where are you studying your nutrition course?
At CNM in London.
Okay.
The reason I chose that was, it looks at preventative. It doesn't look at the disease itself. It looks what to do to not to get to that point. And that's something that it was really interesting to me, because one thing that I noticed, I might be wrong, but from what I have noticed in Iran, I've never seen this many people suffering with cancer, with depression. And I think one of the reasons is the food that people are eating. And I don't know, here there are so many people with cancer. And a couple of days ago I was doing some research, and I noticed is the rate of there isn't enough research in Iran, but there is, for example, in India, that they have food which is quite similar with lots of spices. And they were suggesting one part of India not having as many cancer cases as Western countries is most of them are vegetarian, and also spices that you always have fresh fruit, nuts, lots of spices. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad. They don't drink as much as people drink here. And my
We're pausing.
yes.
Is someone on the internet? We've gone frozen. We will come back. But I think it's very, oh, there we are. We're back. Okay. Hello.
We're back? Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah, it just froze for a bit. No, I
Yes.
fully agree with you. Spices are a real balancer, like turmeric. We should all be eating that. Whether it's fresh or powdered, we should have it.
Yes.
Indian cookery, they start so many dishes off with it. Oh, we've frozen again. Is anyone on the internet in your house? Oh, we're going to get you back. We want to finish this conversation. Please not. Don't go away.
Oh.
There we are. There we are. Is there anyone on the internet? Because sometimes that stops it. No, no one on just on their phone or anything. Okay. Are you there? Oh no, we keep freezing. Oh. No, please stop. Okay. Someone's just asking something. I heard you say this. Are you transferring to your phone? Just wait, and we're going to get this back. But it is a fact. Are you back? Are you coming?
Yes.
Hello, hello. Good, good. yes, the spices are really good, the fresh diet, and also, can I just ask you, are there very many ready meals in Iran?
Unfortunately, it's starting, but
Okay, because
it
I
wasn't.
think ready meals are a massive problem.
Yes. No, we don't use, and
Yeah.
also I don't even, despite being starting in Iran, people, I don't think they're gonna really entertain it because food has a big part in Iran. It's one of the biggest part of Iranian people is food, and I don't think they're gonna be satisfied with ready-made food.
Well, someone's just written here, which is rather beautiful, actually. Everyone's going back to grandma style food,
Yeah.
which is, I always call it cooking from scratch. You know, so you know exactly what you're eating because you put all the ingredients in. There's no stabilizers, there's no cheap fats, there's all of those things. Someone's just also asked, they'd love you to talk a little bit more about Persian vegetarian food.
Persian vegetarian. We don't. I live with a vegetarian person, so I know that when you go to Iran, it's quite. It is a little bit hard to find Persian food, but at the same time, there's so many dishes that are vegetarian. For example, in my book, 90% of the ashes are vegetarian. The rice are always vegetarian, and the problem starts with stews. The starters are all vegetarian.
Yes.
The main problem is the stew because the base of the stew is really the meat or chicken. But I started to, because we when I am at home and I want to eat with my partner, so I started not eating meat also as much as I used to, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining. I was never a big fan of meat, but you can substitute food, that meat, with mushrooms, with beans, it's easy. They're quite adaptable, and I tried to give options in my book where it was possible. That's, you can't, some of the dishes is just not possible, but 80% of them is possible just
Well,
to
yeah, that's good.
alter
That's
them
good.
to vegetarian.
We're breaking up again. Don't worry. Don't worry. Someone's definitely doing something. Oh, thank you, everyone. Oh, there you are. Okay. Because I saw you on your website, you put up a lockdown pie, which looked delicious, and that's lentils and lots of spices and vegetables, and then with
Yes,
mash on top. But it's got some, I wouldn't say Persian, but it's got spices in it, hasn't it?
yes. It's just not possible for me to cook without spices, to be honest with you. It's just part of everything I cook, I add the spices. And if you get used to using spices, I don't think you would have your dish without them anymore. People, most of the times I notice they're not familiar with it. They don't know how much to add, when to add, should they add it or not. When they get familiar with it, it becomes just part of the dish. It's just impossible not to have it. And incorporated in different, all kind of, doesn't matter what kind of and what part of the world the dish is, but and you do get the benefits of it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds brilliant. Well, listen, I want to finish off with asking you your favorite kitchen tool that you can't live without.
Uh,
Be it your
I think
grandmother's wooden spoon, it doesn't matter.
I think it's my knife. Although I do
It's your
cut my,
knife.
I do. Be worried. My partner, every time I took that knife, he says, "Be careful," because we had so many accidents. But it's just impossible to survive with it in my kitchen.
Okay, so you always need your knife. And what's
That's
your
one. And I love my food processor.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah, they're good for sort of blitzing things and all the rest of it. And tell me also, what is your foodie influence, film-wise, book-wise, chef-wise, podcast that you could share with us?
Yeah.
We've frozen again. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I think
There we are. I can
my
hear you
mom.
now.
Oh, you
Oh,
can't
it's
hear me.
frozen.
Can you hear
We can't hear
me?
you. It comes and it goes. I can hear you
Oh my
now.
God. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's coming in and out.
Oh, I don't know what's happening. God, I hope this is not happening on the day of my exam. Oh,
Okay, we'll text each other, but someone's asking any workshops in the future.
am I back?
You're coming and going. It's back with
God,
delay,
I
as
hope this
someone
is not
said.
going to happen the day of my
Yes.
exam. I'm done.
Oh, oh dear. So your favourite foodie film?
My mom.
I think this isn't working. We're going to text. I'm going to finish it. Bye bye. Thank you very, very much. And that was Atoosa Sepehr. We're going to finish. Atoosa Sepehr, and her book is From a Persian Kitchen, and you can buy it, and it's absolutely amazing.
Am I back?
Someone's saying maybe we should reconnect. Yeah, you're back, but it keeps on coming and going. And so I think we're going to stop, and I'm going to text you to get your foodie connection. Okay? Because this isn't working. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And we've had a great week with some fantastic people, and we've got amazing people next week. So join in. I'm going to finish. Bye bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Yo.